Broadcasting live from the stable room. Beat down Brown. Eddie B.
Dirty.
Dirty.
Dirty. Dirty.
Dirty. Dirty. Dirty.
Dirty.
Dirty. Dirty. Dirty.
Dirty. Dirty.
Dirty.
Dirty.
Dirty.
Tell the people more about the advantages of our product.
They never lose their cool.
Expand your mind. But I've got a better source of information.
Dirty.
What's going on, people? Another Dirty 30 for y'all. Let me get myself in the shot here. I'm tripping today. What's going on? Beat down Brown, my man E-Verify in here.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, brother? How you?
I'm good. Again, leasing life right now. For the foreseeable future. Leasing life. That's it, bro.
I feel you, brother. Man, it's been a wild week in the Midwest this week, man. We getting all this snow dumped on us.
Yeah, man, y'all can have that. Keep that there, man.
You know you miss it, man.
Don't miss any of that, family. Sweating before you get to work because you didn't, took off 3-4 pounds of snow off your car. Yeah, don't miss that shit.
It's called turn a key. Let the car defrost itself.
Nah, man, but I heard some dude got arrested for doing that, man, in Michigan. Got almost, I think, a $700 fine.
Oh,
letting his car run in the driveway unattended. Yeah.
Be
careful, folks.
Hey, I'm gonna hit you with the mad rapper on that one, man. Try that in the yo, baby.
I was just there. I was in my car, man. You can't prove it. But yeah, dude got dinged. 700 bills for leaving his car unattended with it running. So yeah, man, be careful doing that shit. But I thought, what the fuck is the auto start for?
You can kiss my ass quick. We'll that one. we ain't worried about that. We run right on. We run them around here, man.
I said this is too cold to be that petty. Let it go, man. It's too damn cold to be that petty. Like, you gonna get out your car and then go check and see if somebody in there, and it's in the driveway. It ain't on the street.
Yeah,
you in the driveway, man.
You was just pissed. You had a bad day that day.
A little bit, man.
Either that or that was the neighborhood asshole.
It could be the latter, but you know how that go.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna get this motherfucker.
You goddamn right. And yep, exactly what happened, man.
Man.
All right, man. You ready to jump into it?
I'm ready to jump into it, brother. I'm ready to jump into it. All right. So first thing up, man, we had a rare appearance. Actually, this show is about rare appearances anymore, man. This show is completely about rare appearances, but it's good stuff. D'Angelo and Jay-Z teamed up. For the Book of Clarence soundtrack. And we knew Jay was going to be on it. He's executive producing it. He executive produced the film and stuff like that. Did you get a chance to go see the movie yet?
No, I have not. Only thing I did was checked out the soundtrack. I don't know what I was expecting, but and kind of threw me off a little bit, man. I again, like I said, you hear those two, you get an idea in your head what you think you're gonna hear, and that Jay-Z and D'Angelo joints sound like they done teamed up with the Dungeon Family. That sounded like my sporty oldie dopalicious angel.
Shut up! You took my words, bro. I ain't mad at it, but you took my words right there because I went and ran it back while I was going through the technical difficulties getting set up. I was up there like, dog, this Spuddy out of 2024, dog.
Pretty much.
Which was inspired, and I, like you said, you didn't know what to expect there.
Right.
All I'm gonna say with that right there is 3 stacks. This you, baby. This you.
That would have been love on if you'd have gave him a sweet 16 on that album. Period. Just anything would have been something dope. But yeah, man, I checked it out and was I I don't know, man. Like I said, we come from an era of soundtracks. You know what I mean? Where you just put it on and you like, hell yeah, da, 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 da. And I don't know if it goes with the movie or what, but this I really wasn't feeling this, or maybe I just wasn't in the headspace because I didn't see the movie yet.
It is a definite headspace thing. Here goes the wild part about it. When I first picked up the entire soundtrack,
Mhm.
it's coming in between. Surprisingly enough, folks, like I said, I'm not an old hater. I listen to everything. It's coming in a really nice sound clash of both deluxe edition albums coming out and actual albums coming out. So like I'm been on that Mick Jenkins a whole
Okay.
lot, his new project.
Fire.
Um I keep screaming it and I'll throw it in the stream so you can check it out. That cat from the West Coast, Jimmy Poindexter, he
Okay.
Jim Bellini. Um and that album is fucking phenomenal. And
Okay.
so it landed when I got a whole lot of introspective, good hip hop albums that I'm listening to. So I'm going into it seeing who's on the album. I see Wayne's on the album, and he and Two Chains did that project, and that project was fire. I'm
Mhm.
like you said, expected some fire.
Yeah.
No, ain't nobody looking seeing that they're gonna get Above the Rim part 2, or anything like that. You know what
Murder
I'm
Was the Case soundtrack,
saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We're
Yeah.
not going there, New Jersey Drive. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh shit. Yeah, man. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
New Jersey Drive
Drive.
soundtrack
Come
was
on, man. Stop playing.
no, I wasn't going because the movie doesn't fit that.
Yes.
But
You're right.
this thought experiment of a project, which is what it wound up being, the soundscape was
Okay.
not what I was, because of the names involved, was not what I was going with.
I think that's what threw me. Yes. Yes.
And going back and understand that, because you see soundtrack, a whole bunch of hip hop names and everything else. I threw it on at work. I think you know what I'm saying. I threw it on at work, and
Right.
and it wasn't like when the Three Stacks album hit me, and I was having a bad day. So that Three Stacks album is like it got me through it. It gave me that woo-saw. I ain't
Right.
need no woo-saw this day. I need to pick me up,
Yeah.
and it wasn't that. Not in a bad way. It wasn't that. Going
Again.
back and listening
Yeah.
to it on when I was in full chill vibe, whatever. It's like, oh, okay, this is
Okay.
good. And like you said, that Spuddy Uddy vibe on it. That was one of me and Sauce on Bread's favorites right there.
Yeah.
If I still had my old answer machine, when he called me from base one time, this cat went reenacted that joint, almost didn't clear through to a voice, clear through to the second verse.
Well, damn. Yeah, man. I just like you said, I was doing the same thing at work, man. I had a little break and decided to, pull it up on iTunes and was like, damn, who the hell produced this track? Do you even know who produced the track?
It was a combo effort. It was
Okay.
he, James Poisner, and all like that. So I mean, you got some vibey ass cats on some, like, I've been sitting up with Questlove and the Roots on that type of thing, on like some in the You Shoot Your Cousin shit. Remember, I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember when they dropped that project.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was very vibey, but man, like I said, while I was going through technical difficulties, I threw it on, had it going through the studio monitors here. I was just like, this shit is fire.
I mean, the song is dope. I just wasn't expecting it. It was more like,
Yeah.
again, it was more like spoken word, like,
I think that's the weirdest standpoint, is not necessarily from D'Angelo's end, from James Poisner's end and all like that. It was more so a weird standpoint coming from Jay's end.
that part.
And I think Jay got taken aback by the whole vibe, like, oh,
I can't flow on this. Yeah.
one, I can't flow on this, but two, I could walk on it though, and
And
watch me walk.
that's what he did. And I wasn't again, like you said, I wasn't in the headspace. I didn't, again, normally I will see the movie and see how it applies to the, to the soundtrack. And I didn't. I did it backwards this time. So maybe that's on me. But still, I just wasn't expecting those two to link up and do something like that again, like Jay not rapping, walking on the track, taking a nice leisurely stroll, through those bars. And yeah, I just wasn't expecting that, considering we haven't heard him in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest, like I said, it's very vibey. You know, I like that joint with Wayne. What was that called? Uh, Jake, what was that? Track two, whatever track two is. uh, yeah, that was dope. Um, yeah, for more, I give it maybe 6 out of 10. Depending on where I'm at, 7, a strong 7 out
Right,
of
right.
10. You know, for the soundtrack, it's just again, you know, for the folks that was on it, that participated in it, you know, I was expecting a little bit more heat, but I guess that wasn't the tone.
No, it wasn't, but I was cool with it.
Yeah.
Um, James Samuel, which was the creative director for the movie,
Mhm.
was the creative director for the project too.
Oh,
And
okay.
so he was the producer across it. So that's who you got handling the vibe across the board. And
Okay.
so yeah, that's you're gonna get, you know what I'm saying, that kind of, you know, spacey vibe across it because it's a spacey vibe into the movie as far as setting the tone for what the soundscape is. It was how can I say it? It was just like when I went back and going through what Kendrick did with the first Black Panther soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
And when you go
Yeah.
through and yeah, he kind of typically TDE'd it, but he went through such a vast soundscape of stuff that isn't normal stuff that you spit to when you go into that.
Right.
You had a lot of techno house and Jersey Club and everything like that before Jersey Club was really bouncing off when Kendrick jumped into that. But then you're looking at an Electric City, you're looking at club scenes and stuff like that that allow for that vibe. And I think what we were more so expecting from J and them would have been supported by an action flick, you know what I'm saying, a black action flick or something like that, as
Right.
compared to something this,
Biblical. Yeah.
yeah, this
Yeah.
ethereal, excuse me, not
Yeah.
etherical. Wow, I'm up here E40 making up words, man. New Beat Down
Yeah.
Brown mixtape coming out.
Coming soon.
Me and 40 water. Nah, but something that's ethereal, something, you know what I'm saying, a period piece like this that changes up a whole lot of how you approach the vibe on it. So yeah, I dug it, man. I
Okay.
really did. But I will be the first one to admit it wasn't first run because of what I needed at that moment. It
See.
wasn't, it
Right.
didn't give me what I was looking for at that second. But in
Right.
the end of everything, it was like this shit
It's
kind of
kind of
cold,
dope.
dog.
Yeah, it's kind of dope. Kind of put that
And you
on.
know, I've been on that little brother swing also, went back through like every project for like the last couple weeks after we covered the documentary.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. You're not wrong and you're not saying anything crazy by saying, yo, dog, that wasn't what I was that
Yeah.
wasn't what I was looking for. No,
Right. It
you're
didn't hit
not
my
wrong.
ears right. Okay. It didn't hit my ears right. I'm glad I got, you know, a second opinion on that one. You was like, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was my first run though. But you know, give it another go. And again, if you're not somewhat religious or anything, it's gonna hit you a little bit different, you know, because it goes with the movie. And also, again, like I hear the names D'Angelo and thing, and I'm like, oh man, we about to get some Neo, you know, with the you know the so-called icon of rap. Oh, we gonna hear something. Then all of a sudden, again, this you know he turned into Fred Astaire, you know,
Yeah.
on the track, and it's like, okay, you know, I guess you got different sides. You know, you could
It's
you know flip the script. I get it. Okay, but I wasn't ready. So
and for a joint like that, funny enough, like you said, with the Dungeon Family esque vibe on it.
yes,
The one name that I didn't see on this project and didn't see on this track that would have fit perfectly. And I'm going back and looking, you know how it goes. You look and see if you did see what you thought you saw or didn't see what you thought you saw. I don't see Jid anywhere on this project, and this would have been perfect
oh,
because funny enough, like I said, listening to the Patience Mick Jenkins new joint, he and Jid got a joint on there where
It's
Jid
fire.
walked on it.
It's
He
fire, and
walked on it.
it's like Mick. I don't know if you understand the lyrical essence of this young man, and he kind of bodied you on your shit, and you need to be careful of who you pick to be on who's your features, because this
Yeah.
dude he's a monster. He's
Yeah.
a monster.
And he went through where he went from straight up barring out to scatting and everything else and
Ridiculous.
slid on that joint.
Ridiculous.
As if it's like this would, I don't know where the phone calls don't take place or whatever, but Jid all over the place, man. He's popping up everywhere. Everybody talking about how Cole popping up with stuff, and I understand that Jid is technically Dreamville too. Jid been popping up. You want to talk about first person shooter? He been popping up and murdering cats all over the place on they joints, man.
He's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah,
he's doing what he's supposed to do, man.
He'd have been perfect for this project, and that was strange going back and looking at the rosters. Like nobody had his Instagram DMs or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
anything. But
yeah, he'd have been perfect. And like I said, the 3 Stacks call. Come on, man. That would have been the perfect call to holler at 3 Stacks. Like, hey man, I don't know if you know this or not. You ain't got to worry about what you got to talk about. You weird enough that this will work.
Yep.
And the vibe we got here is straight up your alley, and we'll let you get a flute solo at the end of it.
Yep. It would have fit. That was the headspace that whole soundtrack to me was in, and that would have fit perfectly with him. But this was years in the making, so who knows? So.
Exactly.
Ready to flip the script, son?
Yes, sir.
All right.
My man. Talk about rare appearances. Yesterday, George Clinton got inducted into the Hollywood Walk of Fame, man. Talk about somebody quite deserving, man. Quite deserving, man.
That's a damn shame that we are discussing this in 2024. It's like they were waiting for this dude to, knock on wood, the transition on somewhere else. I won't even, take it there to the fullest, even put those words out there. But yeah, man, he should have been on the boulevard, man. I mean, what the hell? He didn't get a star. He hasn't been come on now. Come on. Yeah. After Atomic Dog dropped in the 80s, he should have had a star. Shit.
I mean, come on, man. And what's funny is you have people that he inspired to use, from Snoop made it to the walk before him.
Man, see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
He was instrumental all over the place. He was a vibe before there is a vibe. There's mad people that have pulled from him in order to get to where they are. It's like, yeah, I don't know what y'all was thinking of with not having this man out here. I understand that, y'all went to musicians later in life, musicians who weren't necessarily movie stars later in life. But man, besides the fact of being a soundtrack of so many of our movies, he's been a soundtrack of so many of General Hollywood's movies. Yeah. And on top of that, now that y'all pulling hip hop, R&B, and everything else into the walk, all these folks is like, yo, man, I was standing on his shoulders. So yeah, this is long overdue. I will admit the one point on this, I did not check and see if he should already be, and I'm gonna check here if he's already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Because I was gonna say, with me not, I don't want to be a recap of last week and find something bad, like when I didn't realize that video was out and watched it live on the show. Is up there like.
Yeah,
shout out the remnant for propping me up and clowning me on that live reaction y'all got there.
Let me backtrack on that a little bit. Is it Funkadelic or is it Parliament or Funk? One of them, the group is inducted into the Hall of Fame.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's one of
That's
those.
fine.
Because I remember he was up there with a bunch of folks, and you know how big Parliament was. So yeah, man.
Hey,
Did you?
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Yeah, because he was trying to shout out everybody, and come on now, that's decades and decades of people who done, breezed into the tribe and, came in and dipped out. But yeah, his influence alone, to me, the star really isn't nothing. It's the fact that he's just now getting it. That
Hmm.
really don't mean too much to me. It's not but for him, damn, come on, man. Like you said, Snoop got in before he got his star, before.
Snoop and Cube both. And like I said, I
Yeah.
understand. You're talking about TV slash movie stars with both of them. Cube made his own lane. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Snoop up there, getting in on every lane possible. I get it. But at the same time, this dude is instrumental to the culture, period. It's
Have
one
they
of the
not
things.
have they not heard the Chronic? That's just an extension of Funkadelic. That's all that is. It's just a 2.0 Funkadelic.
Pretty much both of their catalogs, man. If like I said, we talking about Snoop and Cube alone, both of their
Yeah,
catalogs
yeah.
is heavy leaning
Heavy.
on his end of the funk. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Not just funk in general, but his end of the funk.
yeah.
That's George Clinton is at a point where it's like you trying to tell me James Brown ain't got a star. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those people.
I just
It's
don't
just
understand
like
of all the people that got a look, he never got a look? All the
it,
people, the celebrities or whatever got looks, and nobody ever thought about, Mr. Smell My Finger?
it dog. Like I said, we go there. Atomic Dog, Flashlight. uh, Come on, man.
Like, dude, I'm about to take a nap while you go through the countdown, of how many bangers and uh
It, and then don't get into stuff like when you get into going back to Cosmic Slop and all that stuff. That I know for sure that I can go back into early stuff when it was just Funkadelic and they were
Mhm.
more on the rock end of stuff, and how many movies that was in the soundtrack of, that was in the opening end of what was it? Let me go. I wanna know if you could take me there. I
See?
I remember
Mhm.
that was in a flick that I was watching recently. Is at the and but it was the old flick. It's like, yo, these cats have soundtrack stuff before it was a case of soundtracking like that. So it's like, come on now.
Yeah,
This should have
come on.
happened ages ago.
I mean, Maggot Brain, we can go on and
Yeah,
on. I
yeah.
mean, the hits and the guys that jumped in and jumped out of the crew, Bootzilla, all those cats, everybody was influenced by George, and nobody thought hey man, we need to put this dude on the walk. It's just mind blowing how we get so overlooked, but yet, first to call,
Instrumental.
yeah, instrumental,
Instrumental in everything going on.
yeah,
So
that,
yeah, man, you deserve it. Glad to see it.
yeah, man.
Um
I didn't know you said it was yesterday. The ceremony was yesterday.
19th was the induction. So yeah,
Okay,
yesterday
yeah,
was the
yesterday.
induction, man.
Okay.
Well, I forgot. Going through internet magic 2 days ago.
Right,
It's the Sunday episode. 2 days ago. We ain't
right,
recording
right.
on Saturday.
Yeah,
We
exactly. Not at
recording on
all. Not at
Sunday.
all.
No, no, no. And that was a heck of a playoff game. Yeah,
Yes,
we gonna
sir.
use all of it.
Man, but again, man, that's just it's to me that's kind of like a smack in the face. Not acknowledging this man at an earlier. I mean, 2024. I get if y'all didn't recognize and realize in the 80s, but definitely the fucking 90s. Definitely once the resurgence of the funk should have put him back on the radar, but all it did was, cats who want to, get him in a video or shit like that, even though they didn't sample the hell out of him, you know.
Man, what's crazy to me is like you said, we don't look at 2000 and the fact that we are now in technically the third decade of the 2000 era right now. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
So
Yes,
the
sir.
two, so not only okay, skipped it for the 80s, skipped it for the 90s, but for the 2000s, for the 2010s, we had to get all the way to the 2020s to
Fam,
go ahead and decide it was time to throw this man on.
I misspoke again because I keep forgetting that Don't act like he wasn't popping in the late 60s, early 70s. Remember when we had
That's
the
like
finger
I
waves?
said,
I'm sorry, but I
I'm
skipped damn near two more decades or whatever. But go ahead,
that's what
man.
I'm saying. I'm going all the way back to, like I said, when we go back to Maggot Brain and everything
Yeah,
else and all that stuff, we're looking at the fact of no, they weren't in the disco funk yet. That's straight up and down rock and roll. You
yep,
know what I'm saying? You got
yep,
you broke it all down. So you got a rock and roller
yep.
that then goes into doing disco funk slash
Hmm.
doo wop. Because remember,
Hmm.
with the Parliaments, when they was on Motown, there was a straight up and down doo wop group. We're not
Hmm.
even looking at that stuff. But then going into disco funk, then going into electro and experimental and combining all types of genres to make a form of funk. It's funny because this man changed the genre so much. You know, I sit back and because my form of funk is totally based off of Ohio funk, I say it is
There you go.
because you know what I'm saying, it's Zapp and Roger, is
Ohio
Parliament
players.
Funkadelic, Ohio
Yeah.
players like that. That when people talk about funk and it's legitimately funk, I'm like, oh no, that ain't funk. I'm like, oh no, I'm an Ohio kid. I
Right.
forgot.
And if
It's shit.
and certain people who understand it will get exactly what you just declared right there. Like
Yeah,
it's a difference. It's a difference from that Ohio sound because it was on our radios. Our parents played it, and like you said, now where are you from? Because y'all get that West Coast funk or whatever. That might be a little bit more George and all that stuff, but us, like it was a staple. It was
yeah.
Zapp, Roger, Ohio players.
But even the
But
fact that let's go there for a second. Like we said, these people, Cool in the Gang like that, not only were they family members to some of our family and friends,
mhm,
they were people that and Ohio players like that, they were people you saw at church, and
mhm,
people you saw on the block,
mhm,
whatever like that. You go up and go see some of your peoples in, Cleveland, Dayton, or whatever like that. It was
mhm.
like, oh no, Uncle blah 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 used to play with or still
Dance
do
band.
play with,
Yeah,
you
he
know what
said
I'm saying,
he was with the
whatever.
dance band the other night, but go ahead. Yeah.
And our funk is a lot different than when you sit back and look at like Play That Funky Music White Boy, that end of funk, which is generally what general funk is.
Right.
It's like, oh no, our funk got a little bit of something else in it. You know
Got
what
a
I'm
little
saying? Thanks
Bootsy
to
in it.
George
Got
and everybody, you know what I'm
thanks
saying?
to
Thanks to
George and
Bootsy,
Bluetooth.
George, and everybody
Yeah.
else. Our funk got a little something different in, so we ain't hearing what y'all hearing.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's a
It's a difference, but it's
it's
all under
it's
the
a heavy
same umbrella,
difference.
but you gotta understand where ours come from.
Yeah,
It's like it's a little bit different. Like if we put on our funk and then we put on your funk, you like, oh, I get it now. I get
yeah.
it. Like put on your favorite joint and I'll put on mine and let's go. Then they'll understand where you're coming
Yeah,
from. Like, oh,
Midwest funk is a whole lot different
mhm,
than what the rest of the world is, and George was a part of the instrumental of that. Like I said, incorporating operatic, including gospel,
mhm.
including soul. Like you
Rock,
said, going back to
punk.
doo wop, rock,
Yeah.
everything. It's just like it wasn't just one thing. It was so huge, so epic, and everything else. And even with that, looking at something like the Book of Clarence, going back and pulling back to that for a second,
Okay.
when you're going into Bop Gun and everything else, these are funk operas.
See,
So
thank you.
these are
Yes.
funk operas. They have a storyline from beginning to end. You're establishing characters, you're bringing them in, and it's some wild shit. And this is the man who brought this to everybody's head without a movie. He had a movie in his nose, if you know what I
You like
mean.
the way it smelled, man. That's all. That's all. You ain't had no
He had a
problem.
movie in his nose. You know what I'm
Sir
saying? So
knows. Sir knows. Yes, sir. But
you know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
like,
he
yeah,
like you said, he was so ahead of his time. I mean, he was on the mothership. Damn it. You know what I'm saying? He was leaving this planet, coming back and blessing us with the funk.
yeah.
Flashlight. I mean, this stuff is just so original, so damn funky. Uh the characters that I used to dig the record covers.
Oh dog, the
I would just sit there
covers.
and just look at them like, ooh, this is kind of like porn. You know,
You got
some of
that
them,
end
you
of,
know.
you got that end of it, but then it was like to visually tell the story, whether it was to visually tell the story with one end of it.
Yeah.
Then you got all the little micro cartoons that got little callbacks to, you know, stuff like that.
Yep.
Like, yeah, man, them
The
covers was something different. You had to
the
have
covers,
a gatefold album.
yes, sir.
It
The
wasn't just the front and
covers,
back on that joint, man.
not just the storylines, but the storytelling. And I
Yeah.
think that's what bridged the gap with our era of hip hop. It was storytelling. You know what I mean? Because you could hear what was crap. What was that one? And all he is he pretty much is just rapping. That I cannot remember right now. As soon as I get
You
off
talking
here,
about pin the tail on a donkey?
yes,
Yes.
that's all that is rapping. That's it. That's it. You know, that's rapping. But you know, I'm preaching. You know, going on my soapbox. But yeah, man, shout out to Mr. Clinton. Glad he got
Man.
his flowers. You know, and yeah, man. Come on, y'all step up with this shit, man. There's a lot of folks who need to get the recognition before it's too late. And I hope they do better, you know,
And
soon.
in full honesty, one thing that I will go along with you on, and we talk about this all the time. If they aren't going to recognize them, we need to go ahead and real estate it up and get our own. We need to real estate it up and get our own. It was no different than Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Grammys that we're looking at.
Hey,
You
we did
know,
it.
all this
What you
stuff.
call it?
We need to.
They
We
just
need to.
started doing it back home, man. That's all they did for
Mhm.
Cool in the Gang or whatever. So if we got to do that, then so be it.
Yeah.
You know?
We got to make our own, because this is ridiculous. There's too many legends that
Yes.
later on the general consensus will admit what they meant to them.
Right.
But right now we know directly,
Yes.
without question, what they do and what they mean to us, and we need to go ahead and put our finger on that and be like, yes,
Immediately.
so
Put a
yeah, I
rush on
feel
that.
you, man.
Okay.
Well, this has been a great one. I thank you for bringing these up to light, man. This is on point, brother.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go ahead and get out of here, and we'll holler at you on the next one, y'all.
Indeed.
Peace.